This week on New Zealand on a Plate, we're in sunny Nelson with acclaimed local chef Matt Buteri. Nelson is famous for its food and wine, and Matt will visit some of the region's premier producers. He'll meet a deep-sea fishing boat and follow the catch through a state-of-the-art factory. Then Matt will wow his lucky guests with a new twist on hoki, one of New Zealand's most plentiful fish. Next, he'll visit a sheep farm to learn how the tenderest and tastiest lamb is grown, and then find out about the importance of processing, before flying to a remote spot to sizzle up a delicious main course. And finally, he'll visit an apple orchard and a berry farm to get the ingredients for a fantastic dessert.
Delicious. Beautiful.
Matt Buteri was born in Taranaki in the North Island and travelled the world developing his culinary skills before returning to New Zealand. He settled in Nelson at the top of the South Island, where he now owns the trendy Urban Oyster Bar and Eatery.
I just came about by accident, actually ending up in Nelson. Came to see a mate that worked for me in London, and just saw an old house here. We had an old house in London, and we thought, we'll do the same thing. So it sort of picked us, and it's been home for the last 11 years, and it's a magic spot, magic people, magic growers, magic scenery. I mean, it's all around you, so it's pretty cool. It's a great part.
Nelson is a key part of New Zealand's fishing industry, and some of our biggest operators are based here. One of those is Sea Lord, a proud New Zealand company and the country's best-known seafood brand. With operations in New Zealand and Australia, it's one of the largest seafood companies in the Southern Hemisphere, exporting to 60 countries. Matt's arrived at the port in time for one of Sea Lord's fishing boats to come in with a catch of hoki, sustainably caught in the deep waters that surround New Zealand. He's meeting skipper Eru Poata.
I've been fishing for about 23 years now, so I started on the small inshore fleet and just slowly progressed my way up onto a hoki fillet boat now. So loving it. Our main target species is hoki. We catch it all year round, but at certain times of year it's a lot easier to catch during the spawning seasons. The great thing about the New Zealand hoki fisheries is that it is sustainable. It's got the MSC tick, and that, to me, it's important because I can fish it now and for the rest of my fishing days, and then my kids and their kids can fish it. So it's something that we think about. Yeah.
Nice. Cheers, bro.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Hey guys, here we are, Sunnyside Nelson. We're on McCullough Wharf, next to a kaha boat, who's just dropped off some beautiful fish for us, some hoki. Today we're going to do some hoki sashimi and a hoki ceviche. I know what you're thinking, but give it a crack because you'll love it. It's a beautiful fish. So I want about a tablespoon of palm sugar. Now I'm going to put some zest of lime, put some lime juice in it. This is for my nook charm dressing. So we've got some juice in there, so you can see it starting to melt the palm sugar from the acidity. I'm going to put a little bit of rice vinegar in there. Now a little bit of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of soya. So I'm just going to add a little bit of fresh ginger. Microplane's brilliant. Now I'm just going to grate a little bit of lemongrass, a little bit of fish sauce, and then we'll try it. Oh, that's so good. Delicious. Right, just going to fillet my hoki using a sharp knife. I just want to get right underneath the flesh, but not just a little bit off the top of the skin. With hoki, you need to fillet it just a little bit off. It's actually a fat line that runs through the middle there, not a blood line, so you want to leave that in there. So now I'm just going to slice off for some sashimi. Nice and gently. It does have a tendency to fall apart, but you want to have a nice sharp knife. And just want to pull it through real gently. Now, it's a beautiful fish, underutilised in New Zealand, but it's soft, it's got a mild flavour, so it's just great for using for especially Asian flavours, Vietnamese flavours. So now I'm going to cut up some fish for ceviche. So when you're doing ceviche, you want to dice your fish up to all the same size. If you've got pieces that are too big or pieces that are too small, your flavour's not consistent. This amount of fish, you'd probably need the zest of 2 lemons and the juice of 2 lemons. I'm putting in a real good sized thumb of ginger. Good amount of red onions. Tomatoes that I've diced up earlier. Now I've got my brimmars of red chilies. Now I'm just going to grab my coriander out. So the best way to chiffonade any of your herbs, coriander, parsley, is to bunch it up into a nice tight bunch, and then you get a nice consistent cut. Just want to toss that over nice and gently. We'll let that marinate for 20 minutes. Okay guys, now we're going to dress our sashimi. I'm going to put my red onions into my nook charm dressing. Just let them marinate a little bit, and then I'm going to put my chilies in there as well, just to give them a little bit of a marination in the dressing so they absorb all the flavours. Spoon my sauce over the top of it. Beautiful. Sprinkle some spring onions on there now. Got some avocado and lemon olivado. Sprinkle of that. Righto guys, so this is our last bit. We've got the ceviche. Just going to add the coconut cream to it. It just absorbs it. Yeah, that looks delicious. Got some cos lettuce cups. And so we've got the aranui salve, which will give us a little bit of acidity to the fish, a bit of sharpness. And the aranui pinot gris will give us something a little bit different, give us some oily complexities. Produced in Nelson, all sustainable growing. Go down well. Cheers guys.
Right.
Cheers, cheers. Try that. I'm interested in trying that myself as well. It's the first time we've banged that out.
Yeah, good luck. You'll be a master at doing that. That's actually really, really good.
Is it good, is it? That's a bonus.
I'll just have the rest, mate.
Okay, mate.
It's a nice bit of meat in it.
Yeah, the chili's good, eh? I like chili.
Cheers, everyone.
Nice to meet you guys.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
For this week's main course, Matt is off to John Levy's 320-hectare sheep farm in the hills just outside Wakefield, about half an hour south of Nelson City.
So, John, tell me, farming, always been into it or just something that you've got into in the last so many years?
Well, I've only come into it recently, the last 15 years, but I was born in Wellington and we lived at Parramatta, which was surrounded by farms, Partanuri, and all I ever wanted to do was go farming. School holidays on the local farm.
Yeah, nice.
I try and grow something for the market, and whilst I'm a farmer, I actually believe I'm an exporter, because these sheep are going to be exported. So I try and grow the best product I can. We grass feed them. I grow quite a lot of what they call tonic plantain, which is a herb type thing. And we finish our lambs on the tonic plantain. We provide them the best platform we can. And whilst they haven't had a long time, they've had a good time.
Yeah, oh, that's what it's all about. Yeah, cool. All right, nice.
Yeah.
Today, Alliance Group livestock rep David Miller is visiting too, selecting lambs ready for processing.
What we're looking for on here is the fat cover over the rib, making sure they're nicely covered. They've got a good back on them, good loins, shoulders good, back legs are all good. So these are good export lambs, are good quality lambs, ideal for our cutting programs and what we need to export to our markets. And also to return John the best money we can for his lambs.
It's nice to know, isn't it?
John's part of the Alliance Group Farm Assurance Program, which means he's environmentally friendly, he's aware of the environment, he looks after the environment, he looks after his sheep. Animal welfare and food safety is a huge part of the Farm Assurance Program, and John is very, very heavily involved in that.
John's stock goes to Alliance Group's plant in Stoke, just outside Nelson. The farmer-owned meat processor has been in the game for 65 years and exports meat to more than 65 countries. Alliance is at the forefront of new and innovative technology, and its outstanding reputation is built on meticulous production techniques, world-class systems, and a strong focus on consumer needs.
We have strict protocols for our own chilled chill, which we must comply with if we want to supply those markets of the world. Because whilst we've got an extremely healthy product for people to eat, we've got to make sure it's safe as well for them to eat.
Yeah.
And we're looking at, in today's world, we're accomplishing 98 days chilled from when we bag the product to when the longest time it can be on the shelf. And because by the time it gets to the marketplace, it's probably 30 days old at that stage. So it gives you another 68 days. So that's good.
So today, with the lamb that we've got, watching the guys do all the boning and that, we're going to use a bit of loin. Pretty impressive what they do, eh?
Yeah, no, it is. They're highly skilled and they work hard.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. And they're producing a high quality product. It's extremely good to eat, as you'll experience later today.
Matt Buteri has teamed up with helicopter pilot Toby Reed to take adventurous diners to remote and scenic locations for a unique dining experience. Today, John Levy's joining them on a flight into native bush-clad hills, where miles from civilization, Toby has a favourite spot to land.
Hey guys, here we are. We're at the Galter River, just landed by chopper from Reed Helicopters. We're at the back of the Richmond Hills. So we've got some pure South lamb here from John's farm, some loin. We're just going to barbecue it up. I've got a medley of vegetables. We're going to smash it all together. We're going to make a tzatziki dressing and some flatbread, and then we're going to bust it into a salad, and then we'll just smash it. So it's been marinated in rosemary, lemon, thyme, just putting some sea salt on it. I've drizzled it with olivado oil. So I'm just searing the lamb off. Just want to get a nice colour on it. Probably about 3 minutes on each side, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes on each side. Then we'll take it off the heat and let it rest up. Okay, while that's searing off, we'll just chop up some vegetables. So just chop the onions up, leave the cores on there. Then we're just going to chop up some lemon thyme. Just going to put some olivado oil on. Now our meat's ready to come off the barbecue, so we're just going to take that off. Beautiful. Got some beautiful baby carrots here, which we grow for the restaurant. Likewise with the fennel. Peppers in here, which we'll just leave whole, I think. Some courgettes. Don't be afraid to get that oil in there. Last but not least, a little bit of asparagus. Right, next step, put elbow on knee and put veggies on barbie. Right, smells good, looks good. It's gonna be a beautiful summer barbecue. Right, so the next step, guys, is we're gonna put together our flatbread. So I've got 150 grams of flour, some baking powder, some lemon thyme, lemon zest, ginger, and some Marlborough sea salt. Going to put 150 grams of yogurt into it and some olivado oil, and then we'll roll it out onto the board, bang it on the barbie. Right, just going to flip that over. Beautiful. Right, so while that's cooking, we'll make the tzatziki dressing. Got some natural yogurt, some onions, some cucumber, some lemon juice, lemon zest, ginger zest, and some olivado oil, and a little bit of Marlborough sea salt. Right, that's our dressing for our vegetables and for our lamb. Mix them with some fresh parsley, fresh coriander, and fresh French tarragon. And now I'm going to grate a little bit of fresh ginger, which goes really nice with lamb. Got some beautiful cos lettuce from the farm. Same thing, we grow this for the restaurant. Squeeze some fresh lime juice, bit of Marlborough sea salt, a little bit more of olivado avocado oil. So mixing it up with my hands because I'm in the outback. My meat will be ready to go from the barbecue, so we can just slice that up. Oh, got a bumblebee up my skirt. Oh, look at that. Sprinkle it with sea salt. A little bit of dressing on the lamb. Done. So we're just going to finish this off with a glass of the Aranui Pinot Rosé. Hey guys, Come and grab a feed. Some tongs there, John. Beautiful, thank you. Get into those veggies.
Lovely, Matt.
No, my pleasure, thank you. You're one of the growers that gives us what we can cook.
Yummy veggies, eh? Oh, yeah.
Nelson has more sunshine hours each year than just about anywhere else in New Zealand, something the locals are always keen to tell visitors. That makes it a perfect place to grow fruit and berries, so Matt Butteri's calling on a couple of local producers to find out more about their operations. First stop is Tasman Bay Berries on the Waimea Plain, just outside Nelson, where Marie and Glenn Holland grow raspberries and boysenberries. Berry lovers can pick their own at Tasman Bay or buy them ready to eat from the on-farm shop. Tasman Bay also supply their fruit to Nelson berry processor and exporter, Sujon.
Hey Glenn, hey mate. Beautiful spot here, bro. Beautiful spot,
it's great. Under the old Nelson sunshine. These earlier berries, we call them the king berry, which is the bigger one, which was the one that was pollinated first, would have been pollinated back earlier in the month. So that'll be the berry that comes off and we pick first. Once we've done a couple of hand picks through here, the harvesters will come in, which will probably be around about that middle of December.
All right, Glenn, I know you're probably not going to like this, but I'm going to pinch one of your kingberries here just to give it a try to see what it's like. So
it'll be a bit tart, I'd say.
It looks good. It looks really good, actually. So your passion, obviously, 20 years of growing, you still got that passion for it? You still love it?
Absolutely, love it. Yep, great environment to work in, and a really rewarding crop to grow, and just the...
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
That was nice.
You like that?
Yeah, nice and sweet.
Mate, wait till they're really ripe.
Yeah, delicious.
Awesome.
Nelson's also renowned for apples, and a few minutes down the road from Tasman Bay Berries is Vailima Orchard, where Richard Hoddy's family have been growers for generations.
I'm a third generation apple grower, and I have 2 sons now in the business, and I also have 2 grandsons on the way to be apple growers.
Yeah, nice. So why are your apples so good, Richard?
Oh, I think a lot has to do with the sunshine hours in Nelson, and what we're trying to do here is ensure that all the apples are exposed to the sunlight at some part of the day. We match our height of the trees to the width of the row. So in other words here, the rows are 3.3 metres apart, the trees are 3.3 metres high, and we always have sun from top to bottom.
Top to bottom.
Yeah.
So these ones on the end here, obviously got a little bit of sun on them.
Yeah, we try to remove the underneath apples and leaving the fruit that's exposed to the light, because that's where we'll get our quality from the sun and the heat.
Oh, nice.
Matt's back on the Nelson waterfront to create his apple and berry dessert on the balcony of the boathouse, a cafe and live event venue.
Hey guys, for dessert, we're going to do an Eton mess, and we're going to use some Sujon boysenberries and Sujon blackcurrant powder with some Heartland Eves apples. So first of all, I've got 150 grams of sugar and 100 mils of water. So I'm just going to make a caramel for my apples. So I'll bang that on the stove, on the barbecue, grab my apples. But look at the colour of that. Cut the apple into quarters. So I'd put them in the oven at 120 degrees for 1 hour. If we're going to do them on the barbecue, if your barbecue's got a lid like mine, then you can put them on there at a real low heat, and they'll take about an hour as well, hour and a half. Rightio, so now I'm going to take my caramel and I'm going to pour it on top of my apples. I'm just going to put these into the barbecue, or you can put them into the oven at 120 degrees for about an hour and 15. So I've got 180 grams of egg whites here. Now the trick with the egg whites is to mix them up slowly. For meringues, the more bubbles that you can get in there before you actually start whisking vigorously, the better. And now I'm just going to slowly increase my speed. You can see the white starting to change colour. So when I've got my whites to that stage there, I've got 115 grams of caster sugar. To whisk your sugar in, nice and slowly, but you want to keep it creamy and soft without it going grainy. So when I've added my caster sugar into it, I should be able to form a figure of 8 with my egg whites, and they should be nice and shiny. So now I'm just going to take the icing sugar and I'm going to fold the icing sugar in. And sometimes meringue can be beautiful when they're really crispy and chewy and everything, but they can also be really sickly because they're so sweet. So the lemon zest helps to cure that. So the other thing we're going to do is we're going to add some of the Souchong blackcurrant powder. And these are grown in Nelson. They're really good for your brain and for your eyesight. And both of mine are failing. So something's going on. So I need to have more blackcurrant powder. Now we're ready to bake our meringues. So I'm just going to scoop them out onto a tray. Going to put them into a preheated oven at 100 degrees for an hour and a half. Turn the oven off, leaving them in there for another hour, and they'll be swanning. I've let them rest, cool down. And then I've got my caramelised apples. Check these out. So I'll take my cream, grab my meringues, just want to break them up. Now I'm going to get some of my boysenberries. Delicious, a little bit of juice, a little bit for the chef, or the cook. Then I'm going to grab some of my apples and take some of the caramel juice. So I just cut them into bite-sized pieces. Get my spoon and just give that a real gentle fold. And there you go, you've got a beautiful summer dessert, eaten mess with Eve apples, Souchong berries, all grown in Nelson for Nelson, New Zealand and export. Love it. There guys, Sunnyside Nelson. I'm going to match that up with a glass of Aranui Riesling. A little bit for the glass and a little bit for the table. Beautiful. Nelson wind.
The apple and the berries go really well together. Delicious.
Beautiful. The caramelised apple is just amazing.
Yeah.